so many different areas, Sister Monique. Sister Monique, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and I just stay with us because we got to get to quite a few more callers, but I'm just glad that I'm not alone because I feel as though that we need to talk about these things. We need to talk about it more. We need to talk about the fact that the men are absent in the house. And let that be known that this is not right. This is not what our house is supposed to look like. And peace and blessings, so that's all I want to say with that. But I'm going to go to our next caller. Got quite a few, so we're going to go with our good brother. Peace and blessings. 310-248. Are you there, brother?
Peace and blessings, love, and service. I'm definitely his brother, calling from Tennessee. And, man, I love that we're talking about this tonight. This is one of the most important topics. I'm going to try to keep it short. If I go too long, Sister Veronica, you're going to have to cut me off, all right? If I go too long, stop me, all right?
I ain't going to cut you off. Just make it short, brother. Go ahead. Just do your thing.
I might run on tonight. But
go ahead.
It's like peace and blessings, love, and service, everybody. It's like the way I see it, we were talking about necessity. We were talking about women being in the home alone. Necessity is the mother of invention. It's like there has been a time in the struggle of our community where we were under attack by the most powerful nation in the world. COINTELPRO ain't no joke. Breaking up the homes ain't no joke. Sending them into prison ain't no joke. The drug trade ain't no joke. All this stuff, it ain't no joke, And so it's like there has been an attack. There has been a real war. I was raised, somebody told me, excuses are tools used by incompetent people to build monuments of nothingness. I understand that. I'm not trying to make excuses for the men, but I am trying to say that the independent women, it's a product of our social system. And this social system has been attacking our community. And in that attack on our community, divide and conquer, there are other, there are other reasons that they give. You hire a black woman, she qualifies for two of the minority things. She's a woman and she's black, so that gives them a leg up. But at the same time, there's been an attack on the African-American male. You look in the media, you look in the society as a whole. I went to the hospital to have my child. You know what I'm saying? I'm reading the sheet of paper. The lady tells me I got an attitude because I tell her she at work, she do what I say. I'm a customer. I have to read this and sign it and put my John Hancock on it. She thinks I have an attitude, calls a security guard, a racist security guard, puts his hands on me the night of my child's birth. My wife was in labor. And it's like, as a society, we've been the black male has been under attack. So when we have strong women, I love, Sister Hollywood, when you said intradependent. See, that's what the independent woman has to become. She has to realize, no, the two shall become one flesh. All right, we are one, and right now, as one. Black men and black women, probably stricken America as a whole. It's societal now. It's not just blacks, but it's like I'm focusing, at my house, as I talk about my house. Judgment starts at the house of God. I'm going to start here. So it's like we are one. We are one flesh. We're a unit, and our unit is under attack at this moment. And in that attack, part of our unit is not being employed or used to the highest of its capabilities. That's generally the male. Well, right now, the woman is having to step up, but the men have to see this as an opportunity to grow and to prosper. We have to change our mentality, our way of looking at this system and how we're operating within this system. We have to use everything as an opportunity, and it's like the opportunity that, they're presenting with us right now is start your own business. Do something different. Do something different to change society. I love independent women, and I always have, because they are the ones that have been keeping things afloat, The men have been trying, the strong men. My father, he worked his whole life. My grandfather, he worked. My great-grandfather, it's like they've been working their whole lives. I'm the first, what would be considered a failure in my family. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but as a person dealing with the issues and things that I'm dealing with at this moment in time, when I have to deal with my wife, who is a very strong woman. I don't like weak people, I like strong women. And so it's like my wife, she's a very strong woman. She's a director. She sets up huge, programs and plays. She has her own not-for-profit program. She does it all. She's an incredible woman. Well, when I deal with her, you know, it's like when I first met her, you know, we had to come to, you know, grips with that intradependent, because it's like, yeah, I appreciate the fact that a woman can think for herself, that she knows how to do things, you know, she knows how to take care of herself. I like that too about myself. But at the same time, when you become in a relationship, you got to learn to work together, you know. And so as we learn to become intradependent, I was like, you know, looking for the solutions to the problem. And it's like, I guess I got a little too excited tonight. It was so much I wanted to say, but
Me too.
it's like with the independent women, it's like, let me calm down. Independent women are one of the most, they're a resource in our community at this moment in time if they understand that there is a war against the people. And in that war, the male is not, he's not shiftless, lazy, and all the things that society says he is. If you look around this movement, you see all these young men that are being labeled as gangsters and thugs. You see them stepping up. You see them learning on their own, self-educated. You see them starting their own little businesses. You see them striving to do better within the situation they find themselves in. If the independent woman can find a man with something, with some of that gleam in his eyes, some ambition, some of that, even though he may not have a job, even though he may have a felony, the two of you, if you work together in love, you will build something together. And it's like, I didn't say anything that I wrote down, but I love this topic. I love our independent women that have been holding things together. I love the men that are able to deal with the independent women, you know, because I think it takes a special, strong kind of man to be able to, you know, deal with a relationship like that. But it's like right now we're at war. We have to come together. Intradependent women. I'm calling Beyonce right now. I get off this line. I'm make a new song. I want intradependent women now. You know, let's get that thought out. You know, because that thought, it heals so much, because the women feel like they have to be out there because they do at this moment in time in a lot of cases. But if they could get that intradependent thought into their head, all of a sudden, instead of them just seeing themselves as alone, now there's room, there's a little space. Now you can put a man in there. Now when you put that man in there, you learn to work together, you can see that there's more to what do you call it, providing than just cash. In this economic, materially based system or whatever, that's how we think. Everything, money, money, money. There's love, there's peace, there's joy, there's wisdom, there's knowledge, there's understanding. The truth is what makes you free, not a dollar. Give me the truth. Give me a man with the truth. You know what I'm saying? Find a man that has some truth in himself, and the two of you can be made free by working together if you become intradependent. But there's nothing wrong with independent sisters. I would love our independent sisters to become intradependent and start working with the brothers and not downing the brothers and understanding what's really going on in the society. And with that being said, I'm going to stop talking. Peace and blessings, love, and service.
Peace and blessings, brother. Thank you so much for chiming in. Well, you said I picked up so many different, you know, nitbits that you said, and it was hard to catch up with you, brother. But I'm just like, I wanted to say something behind something you said. We are in war. You said war, and yes, that's something that I wanted to, you know, kind of get out and raise the awareness that we are in war, and I don't think nobody understands the type of war we are in when we got the women on the front lines being independent, and the brothers are labeled as shiftless, lazy, and all these other derogatory terms. But, you know, I want to put that thing together and, you know, kind of, you know, let's look at that. Let's just look at it and just dissect it, analyze it, and see what the system has, you know, devised against us and then pitched us against ourselves. It's something we can go back to the Willie Lynch letter. And that's something that I think about all the time. If only we was aware of the problem of the war we are in, that if we could only come together, bring ourselves together, cut all that selfishness, lower-level stuff out, and build together and overcome it. And it's something about, you know, brother, you mentioned it earlier, and I kind of lost it, but it's racism, you know, the racism, white supremacy thing. They kind of, you know, dismantle our relationships through the door. And if we understood that and come to a higher level of understanding, where we at, brother, we will live in love, peace, and harmony as long as we on this earth. And I just wanted to get that out there. But we're going to go to our next caller. Peace and blessings, Brother Charles. I love you, brother. Stay with us as long as you can. Love your little new son. Oh, he is adorable. And I know you are just the happiest, proudest dad alive right now.
You got that right.
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.
And I apologize.
Oops. We're going to go to our next caller. Peter, are you still with us, sir?
Yes, I'm still here. I've been.
Oh, Peter, I'm sorry. I apologize for being we've been taking forever. But come on, chime in and give us what's on your heart today on this topic.
I'm gonna be the bucket of negativity tonight because I got to admit that I haven't liked anything that has been stated other than what the woman said earlier about the fact that the community is role reversed. The other guy, your co-host, unfortunately, he's talking about male responsibility, but male responsibility in the vacuum of space devoid of leadership, which is a problem, and I already know that a lot of sisters have a problem with that when it comes to black men leading. When it comes to us taking on responsibility, oh, yeah, sure, go off, be a handyman, contribute in that manner. But in terms of leadership, no, a lot of women have a problem with that, and they have a problem with that because of the fact that black men do not control the economic landscape of the community. Black women are not dependent on us for sustenance. Everything they get from another group. They get from the white dominant society, the white dominant culture. And the last brother, like he said, oh, what you need is a brother with truth, and it's not about the money. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, the money is the very problem that we have. But it seems that the women seem to understand that, but the brothers don't. And I get and there's a part of me that just I just want to walk away from sisters and say, congratulations, because it's like the woman who called in earlier who was talking about the prostitution thing, where she made the point, that women, basically, they don't have any men to pick from. That's half true. That's how it started out. But now at this point, and I already know this is going on. I've already heard things stated like I don't want a man who could outthink me. I don't like the fact that he could take me or leave me. Anytime I come across a man who's got himself more together than I do, I got to reevaluate myself. I've heard all these things. Those are quotes, okay? And what has happened is that a lot of women, it's not a matter of they can't find the right guy out here. At this point, you can say yes because it has evolved to that point. But the issue is the fact that a lot of women are actually going out here and choosing subordinate men so that they can run it, because that goes to reinforce the matriarchal concepts that are going on out here. Because if she's laying the foundation, then obviously she's the rock in the foundation, and she's the earth mother, and she's the divine African queen. If she goes out there and gets with a brother that's got more than her, then it's a problem. But the drawback to that is I direct you to your nearest black community where you don't have black men with the drive nor the skills to go out here and build and maintain the infrastructure, just like you see what's going on in every other patriarchal community. Women are going out here and choosing fathers that have not surpassed the woman. So first things first is, if a man has not surpassed you, how is he supposed to go out there and surpass other races of men who you clearly know are dominating us? Okay? The second issue is, if you go out there and you get with a man who hasn't surpassed you, then what does he have to offer or teach his son? What is he going to teach his son? Leadership skills that he doesn't have? What are you going to tell me, that these brothers are going out here and leading on her dime? How does that work? On top of that, if he's not leading, if he's not in a position to lead, then clearly he doesn't have any skills that will go back to pertaining to building and maintaining the infrastructure of the African American community. Women will sit there, they talk about the lack of promotion, the lack of black women's beauty that's focused on. Well, let's look at two things. Let's look at, number one, if black men are going to promote black women, then they would need to be in the financial position to control their own media so that they can promote black women. And then second off, the whole point of promoting black women is you promote her because you were trying to get her to cooperate with your structure, because she is the facilitator of the legacies that you are trying to create and pass on and so on and so forth, meaning you get with a black woman creates black children, and you pass on black wealth through her. But when you have a role reverse situation, it doesn't work like that. Everything falls apart. This is why you got brothers out here thinking they can go off and get with a white woman, and it doesn't matter where they put their seed. One drop, rule it to death. Because, hey, if I'm not passing anything on, what does it matter? What does it matter if I get with a black woman or not? There is no black infrastructure that is currently being maintained, headed, operated, and controlled by black men. And unfortunately, because black men have not been in a position of power and their leadership has not been effectively demonstrated, a lot of women are, they don't have any faith in black men's abilities. They don't trust black men. So even if you present one brother, that's got himself together, because there isn't an army of us, because we're not out here networked and we're making moves and little girls are growing up seeing black men actively participate in the maintenance of their community, what you end up with is this situation where, you drop one in front of them and they're going to avoid him like the plague because he's an oddity. He's like the Loch Ness Monster. He's Bigfoot. He's not the standard. You cannot be that rare and be the standard and set the tone. This is why brothers have problems setting the tone in terms of young men and gangster culture and street culture. The reason the young boys want to emulate the gangsters and the thugs and all that stuff, because they are the closest thing to a black male power structure or hierarchy that exists in the. And that's the same reason why these girls want to go and get with those guys, because women are going to gravitate to men who are in somewhat of a position of power, but because we don't have, on-point black men, oceans of them, or because the ones that do exist ain't even in the BC, right? Because, there's no structure, there's no positive male identity. It's not like they're going to be acknowledged or rewarded, they're just a lame or whatever. And I'm not even trying to get into all the complexities of that. I'm just saying they're not there. They don't control the economic landscape. They're not creating opportunities. It's like, to end off real quick, one of the women at the beginning of the show was talking about, women holding it down, and brothers just come through, and they just give y'all credit. Like, yeah, they holding it down. I'm like, what are they holding it down? Seriously, what are they holding? Okay, a woman goes off, she gets a job from the white boys, and she minimally can have a home. But these black women out here are not creating economic opportunities for their sons, which is why, despite the fact that you have all these women raising their sons and telling you about how they raised their son to be a good black man, when that black man or that black boy turns 18 and becomes a man, there's no economic opportunities that he's walking into that she and her cohort of sisters provided. That he doesn't even have the tools to be the man that he needs to be for another woman to take care of that family, because the brothers don't have the money. Which is why I resent the fact that brother just came on and talked about, buckets of positivity, and it's not about the money. It's all about the money. And the sad part is, the sisters know that it's all about the money as it pertains to not being controlled by a black man, or not having a black man tell them what to do or regulate them or check them. But at the same time, when you look around, it's the lack of money and finances in the hands of black men, which is why the whole structure collapsed. But you can't tell nobody that, because, we got to work together, and it's about equality, and that's how it's going to work. It ain't about equality. It ain't never going to be about equality, because men are the ones who go out here and build the physical foundations. Women preserve the culture, but women cannot preserve the culture in the vacuum of space. In other words, you can't preserve the culture if men don't lay down those foundations first. We have to lay down those foundations for you to preserve the culture, first. You can't do it. If I don't do my job, you do your job. And for further evidence, I direct you to your nearest black community. It doesn't work. But, hey, everybody wants to run with this equality thing. I'm like, all right, you ain't going to see no sisters out here with yellow hard hats, fixing pavements and creating hydroelectric power plants and building buildings and stuff and working on skyscrapers. The men do that. And there's no way that men are going to do that from a position of equality or a subordinate position, because it's too much work. It's just simply too much work. That has nothing to do with the ideas of women are inferior and all that other stuff. It's just, y'all ain't going to do it, not at the collective level. I'm not saying you don't have some exceptional women out there that can go and do, great things. But, seriously speaking, when you hear sisters talking about, they want to be equal to men, especially in corporate America or something like that, they're talking about working in air-conditioned offices, white-collar jobs that men built for them. They're not talking about, hey, I'm trying to be equal to man, so let me go out here and go work in this coal mine. Let me go out here and do these dirty jobs that are needed to to maintain the infrastructure of the community, the physical infrastructure. And again, nobody wants to discuss that. Nobody wants to dive into that. We want to go and throw buckets of positivity and act like, you know, it's a moral problem. The problems in the black community are not moral problems. The problems are economic problems. You're not going to have a situation of morality when the leaders in the black community don't control the economic landscape in the community enough to create sustenance for their people. You're going to have crime. You're going to have blight. You're going to have men walking away from their families because they don't have the means to even take care of them, even if they were there. You know, so I mean, it's a lot that I just laid out. I'm not trying to, you know, hijack your show. I'm frustrated because people are saying, you know, the platitudes, oversimplifications, the same stuff we've been hearing for the last 25 years, and it ain't getting us nowhere. And I'm just sharing with you what the real problem is. We need black male leadership, and I don't know if I don't know where to go because I don't have a coalition of brothers right now that are trying to present anything. A lot of dudes are on this, you know, we're going in our own direction, and they're mad about, you know, the women and the fact that you can't hold women accountable, which you cannot, because you cannot hold women accountable for structures that they don't build. How are you going to hold them accountable for what they don't build? But, you know, so dudes, they got their own set of problems. I've been addressing dudes for a long time, trying to get them on the track, but at the end of the day, I already know, and this is the best-kept secret that sisters have, is the fact that they are really uncomfortable and they don't believe in male leadership. And even if you try to drop an on-point brother in front of them, a lot of them will run in the other direction, and I understand it. But at the same time, you got to start somewhere.
Absolutely, brother. Peace and blessings, love and service, Peter. Peter, you just laid some heavy stuff on us, brother. And I thank you for chiming in because those are some things that we definitely need to hear. Everything you said, brother, we need to hear those things. And I thank you so much for your perspective. Everybody here got a different perspective. And, brother, I just thank you for chiming in and laying that all out on us, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you for being patient enough, long enough to even get that out. But just hold your peace with us. Stay with us for a little while, okay, brother?
Okay.
Great, and I'm going to bring someone else want to come in right after you, brother. So just stay with us. It's all love. We here is peace and blessings and love and service at Pops. We all have different perspectives, but at the end of the day, hopefully we're going to come together for a change, family, for a change. We need to change some things. But anyway, on that note, with that being said, I'm going to bring my next brother in. Brother X, are you there?
Hey, peace and blessings, love and service. Indeed, I am.
Right.
This is Brother Mike X calling out of the Bronx, NYC. And, you know, wow, I love the energy. I definitely love the energy. I want to say peace and blessings to Brother Peter, who just got off the line. I agree with a lot of what he said. But not all of it, you know what I mean? And it's cool, like you said, Sister Veronica, it's you know, we all have different opinions. I think that, and you even spoke about it, you know, but I believe, you know, that the black man is the most vilified person on this planet, you know, the most feared, you know, person on this planet, you know, the most slandered, you know, the most disrespected. And there's definitely a reason for that. You know, the powers that be definitely don't want strong, black, educated, vision, possessing, you know what I mean, and focused brothers standing up in the neighborhood and in the family structure. You know, that's most definitely 100% the truth. You know what I mean? And, you know, from the Willie Lynch syndrome to all of the things that were done to knock the black man out of the family structure and keep him out of the family structure. You know, there's a lot of truth there. I feel like we have to, even with that being said, I feel like, you know, today we have an opportunity. You know, the very fact that we could be standing on this line right now talking about this, it gives us an opportunity to do things. I feel like we have to step out there and model for other people, what real men and what real women should be about in these communities. The brother said it's an economic problem. I think, it's really a problem of consciousness. It's really a problem of ignorance. It's really a problem of our people being asleep, and not having an understanding of history. And when you don't understand your history, you can't understand your present. And when you can't understand your present, there's no way that you can get into the proper roles and in the proper direction that you need to be heading in. And so the consciousness comes before economics. It comes before politics. You know what I mean? It comes before basically, everything that we talk about. We got to wake up, and we got to find a way to wake our people up. And there's various means that we got to put forward to wake our people up. We got to speak correctly. You know what I mean? We got to act correctly. Like I think it was Sister Monique who said that, before Brother Charles came on. We need to model, what it is to be a man and what it is to be a woman. Because right now what we have our brothers falling in line in is the historic role of stud. You know what I mean? That was put upon us back in slavery times, where we were stripped of being father, when we were stripped of being protector, and the only power we was given was to run around and impregnate sisters so that more babies could be produced and be enslaved. You know what I mean? And we're still, a lot of us are still in that role and mindset where the only thing that we got on our minds is striving to chase after sisters to get what we can take from them. You know what I mean? So we need our brothers, to understand that you're playing an old role that was not brought about for the best of us. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I can say the same. Our sisters. Look, the spring is on its way. Yeah, we had a little hiccup and had like some winter conditions, but 2 weeks ago, you know what I mean? And I think I was talking to my good sister Veronica about this. You know what I mean? 2 weeks ago, when the weather started getting warm, a lot of our sisters started stripping, man. You know what I mean? Like, we both got work to do. And we need each other. You know what I mean? I want a strong sister by my side. I want a sister that can build with me. You know what I mean? Mentally and spiritually. I don't want to be leading no sister around by her nose. You know what I mean? I have no problem with taking the lead in certain matters, but I want somebody who can keep up with me. I want someone who's just as interested in me in growing, you know what I mean, as I am in growing. You know what I mean? I don't want no brain dead, can't hold her own, can't form her own thought and opinion type sister, man. You know what I'm saying? And it has fell on our sisters because the men have been knocked out of the family structure. So, yes, the sisters deserve a lot of credit for holding down the fort. You know what I mean? And we give that credit, and we will continue to give that credit. But it's time for the men to rise up and stand up and reform those bonds with the sisters, man. So we have to resist the temptation to look at our sisters as playthings. You know what I mean? As pieces of meat. You know what I mean? And if a sister is coming at us in that way, we got to be strong enough, you know what I mean, to resist that. You know what I'm saying? I've gone through that. I've said that on the line before. Because I'm a conscious brother, because I'm a strong, principled brother, I've had sisters come in my direction in the past from that low, fleshly level. You know what I mean? And and I had to equip myself because of what I represent. The vision that what I embrace and what I represent. I had to be strong enough to deal with that in the best way I can, and I think that was wrong at those times. You know what I mean? And I have been one to do the best that I can to redirect the sister. Like, look, sis, I want you to be as strong as you can be. You know what I'm saying? And the sisters need to be able to do the same thing. The sisters need to be able to challenge the brothers to be their best brother, and can't just, like the brother. That's one of the things that I was agreeing with the brother on. Our sisters cannot look for the weak brother or not challenge and support the brother to raise his standards mentally and spiritually and then cry, after the fact when the brother's not able to stand up. to the responsibility of being a father, a husband, and a protector. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to take both of us coming together, learning our history, understanding what has been done to us, and then taking that responsibility to just represent it. You know what I mean? And let me just say this as I fade out. People learn, here we said, people learn through observation and participation, So let us as activists, let us as people in these neighborhoods who know what the problem is, let us not sit on the sidelines, pointing at the ignorance of our people, as the blame for us not getting up and doing all that we can within our individual lives. I hope and I pray, and I'm not trying to put the brother on the spot because the brother was definitely on point in a lot of things. And as I was listening to the brother talk, I was saying to myself, I hope that this brother is a writer. I hope this brother is putting himself in position to write, put a book together to capture, the obvious, hours and years of education that he had to put himself through. I hope that he's doing something to put that information together where it can be passed on to people who desperately need it. You know what I mean? That's much needed. We have to represent that. We got to step out, and there's nobody stopping us. Trust me, family. There's nobody stopping us.